You, and yes, you're doing too much, and you know you're doing too much. You're starting a project every week, pivoting every month, never finishing a single project that you start. You're essentially proverbially spinning your wheels and never launching. And you wonder why you're not achieving your goals for the past few years. If this resonates with you, that's exactly what this video is about. We're going to talk about why this happens and a few tips that I've found are helping me overcome it and actually start progressing. If you're a young professional, similar to me, and you have a highly demanding job, highly demanding hours, and you're just trying to build leverage in your life, build leverage within your workspace, build leverage outside of your workspace, increase your income, increase your side income, and get better with fitness, then this channel, and specifically this video, is for you. Anyways, let's jump right into today's topic, which is why doing too much is literally a detriment to you actually getting any progress and going anywhere with your life. Disclaimer, by the way, I am not an expert and I'm not trying to speak about this stuff from the point of view of any guru or anything like that. These are just some of the problems that I've noticed in my life, and today we're just going to talk about some of the solutions that I've seen have started working for me. But let's jump right into the core topic, which is why doing all of this stuff, trying to add too much to your plate, will ultimately break your plate, and how to stop yourself from doing this. When we think about why we end up doing too much, it's very hard to actually get a clear answer. But there are some simple things that follow. Because you ask yourself, is it simply because you feel like you're behind in life? You feel like your ambitions are high and you need to do more to achieve them? You feel like for you to even get love in life, you need to achieve and be doing these extra tasks or just attacking more stuff? Or is it simply because when you try to focus on one task, you realize that being consistent is extremely boring and difficult? I think it's a mixture of the answers to all of that, which is that when we're trying to focus on one task and get good at a specific skill, build a project in our life, it becomes hard because ultimately it gets boring. It's boring to do the same thing for 12 months. It's boring to be consistent. But if you can build a system, it will be useful, and that's where you're gonna make any progress in the first place. I think that comes to trip us up is our egos, is that we feel like we're not doing enough. But literally, you can only do as much as you can do. You can only do as much as a human can do. Sometimes we're not doing enough and we're just being lazy, we're watching a lot of TV. But sometimes you're generally doing too much. You're like, oh, I want to hit the gym, I want to call my girlfriend, I want to do this, I want to do that. And your to-do list is crazy. You're not making real progress towards any of your goals. It's the stuff that I've noticed myself. That's exactly the situations that I've been facing. And I've just learned, look, doing all of the stuff will never take me forward. I need to be able to focus, do the necessary tasks, stack the necessary skills that I need to stack, and I'll be able to move forward. But yeah, when it comes to why we start to do a lot, it's because simply it's boring doing one task the whole time. And doing a lot of tasks actually ends up being a form of procrastination, to be fair. And it's easy for all of us to just procrastinate. It's exciting to do a bunch of things, start a new project, but like continuing the old project that you started, trying to finish it, not really seeing the results, not waiting for that delayed gratification, that's literally what kills us. That's literally what kills our progress. How do we overcome this? How do we get past this? How do we blow past some of these destructive factors in our life? The first method that I pulled recently and started applying to my life to try to do this is building force, turning that force into a habit, and essentially turning it into my identity. It's also part of what this channel is. And what I mean by all of this is essentially, in the beginning, to start a new task, you always have to force yourself to do that task in the first place. But to be consistent at that task is a different story, because in the beginning you might feel very motivated and you might not even need to force yourself. But once that motivation runs out, you have to force yourself. And the key step here in this whole process is that once you start to see that you've started a new task, you've committed to a new task, you do it using all the motivation that you have, then you start to force yourself to just be consistent. And once you force yourself to have that consistency, you try to build this task into a habit that you do regularly. If you look at it, you can think about it like going to the gym, right? When you're starting out, you feel very motivated. You're like, yo, I'm gonna go to the gym every week, every day. You start out, you go there the first time, you get very sore and you don't go back for the next week. Then you build up the motivation again to go at another later stage, maybe the next month. You go again, you feel sore, but you're like, you know what, I'm gonna try going again later in this week. You go again later in that week. You feel a bit sore, but after 1 week of just going consistently, the next week you start feeling like, you know what, getting kind of used to this, my body's not as so I'm able to recover. And then you force yourself to do that again for the next week, and it's the same thing, you're just getting more used to it. By the time you've done it for 3 weeks, you will start to realize that you're no longer forcing yourself and you're just naturally going to the gym. That's what I feel is like the real way of getting consistent in these tasks and keeping to them. Essentially, starting the task, committing to it, and then forgetting about starting new tasks. Just telling yourself, you know what, this week I need to simply put out my 1 video for the week, or I need to simply make that investment that I'm supposed to make, or learn about that topic that I wanted to learn about. Especially if you're thinking about work or just maybe investing or something, just learn about that specific topic that you wanted to learn about. Crypto, ETFs, whatever types of funds, tax-free savings, any of that stuff. Just doing the task for that week and sticking to it. It's as simple as that. The second solution that I learned to avoid doing too much is essentially to audit your days and audit your weeks ruthlessly. To actually, at the end of the day, think about what you did. At the end of the week, think about what you did that week. When you start to audit your time and see, where am I losing time? What are the tasks that I'm doing too much of and I'm not really getting anything out of? When I started doing these or applying this to my own life, I realized, look, I am spending an uncanny amount of time doom scrolling. I still sometimes spend an uncanny amount of time doom scrolling. I've decreased it significantly from where I was. Like at the start of this year, I think I was probably doom scrolling for like a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours when I get home from work. Just get home extremely exhausted, eat a little bit, start doom scrolling for 2 hours, and then it's already time to either go to the gym or try read some work for work. And then I never actually started pushing towards maybe building a YouTube video or building this YouTube channel, trying to do that thing. I just realized when I started auditing my time, look, I'm losing so much time to doom scrolling. I'm wasting time, maybe sometimes cooking, but I mean, cooking can be a useful thing. But yeah, when I started tracking my time and started being like, let me set some time blocks, let me incorporate and schedule my distraction into my day, then I realized, hey, look, if I tell myself I can doom scroll for 30 minutes max, then I might do the doom scrolling and I'll be done with it. And by the time I hit my target time to start the work, I know that I have to just start. Or sometimes I just do the tasks as soon as I get back home and try to do the doom scrolling or that other kind of task later in the day as a reward. Once I started doing this, I started seeing some progress. I started seeing that I'm making my videos, I'm actually releasing videos. And yeah, those are the 2 solutions so far, which is creating a force that turns into a habit, that turns into your identity, and making sure you audit your time ruthlessly. And the third point, which is not the least important point, is to essentially look back at the past and celebrate your wins. So if you look back at the past, for me personally, it's looking back at the fact that I finished university, where in that degree, I had periods where I had strong focus. I dropped so much in my life just to make sure I got through the degree. When I look back and I'm like, look, I was able to do it there. I should be able to do it here. I can apply the same types of concepts that I used in university and apply it to building my own projects, making more income. I feel like doing this has just unlocked another level in my life, and I'm going to try to hopefully share that and get that across to other people as well. Try to work on your projects, use that past experience. You know that you have your own wins, you know, whatever it might be. You got your first position, you got your first job, you got promoted, you came up, you've come far. Use that momentum, use those past experiences, use what you used to get through most of the challenging stuff in your life, to just stick to your own projects. Your own projects should be followed in the same way, and just focusing on one will get you that win that you're looking for. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video and you're looking to build leverage in your life, you want to join a community of people similar to myself, where we're just trying to learn more, improve our finances, improve our income, improve our fitness, and just get better at just building and doing the stuff that we say we're going to do, then please subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment down below about some of the stuff that you've learned that have helped you overcome this bug of essentially doing too much, trying to be too ambitious, and not really achieving any of your goals. Drop some comments down below of any of the solutions that you have yourself. But anyways, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share. Peace out.